Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I am overjoyed, fellow answers and all, because finally I'll be doing my first listen / full-on album review to NMIXX's 4th EP titled Fe304 Forward. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to this new era that honestly has been my favorite era so far already. I mean, with High Horse and then leading into their main title track, Know About Me, that took this trap hip-hop heavy approach, and crazy in the performance department as well. But just to backtrack a bit, I mean, if you think about Fe304 Break and Stick Out, and now leading into Forward, the consistency in quality and the fitting themes and patterns that they've been going with their music, with purposeful lyrics and meaningful messages, has been truly everything, right? I, for one, always look at two things and listen for two things: musicality and lyricism. And I emphasize this to my fellow friends that are not in K-pop, that are in K-pop, both ways, saying I really love those two aspects when it comes to music, and I noticed that in true artists. That's why I title NMIXX as an artist group, not just a girl group, but an artist group. So hey, enough talk. I know I was gonna cover more of High Horse. If you guys want me to do so, have a review breakdown, I'll do that in a separate video. Let me know in the comment section down below. But enough talk, let me dive into the first B-side here, Slingshot. It's got a lesser than symbol and a star in the parentheses of it, so I like that unique titling for it. I'm seeing 153 Jumbas, La 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 Studio, Artifact. I'm seeing the Hub Collective. So we got pretty much 3 collectives in the mix, and DongDeng has worked with many of our favorites, of course, under JYP, outside of JYP as well, if I recall correctly, the likes of Billie as well. But hey, enough talk, let me bring up Slingshot here. Come on now.
You can't stop me. I'm going so far. Slingshot.
Whoa! This bass! Ooh, it slaps! Wow, into Kijin. Tell him. Pre-chorus with Bae. Great snapping keyboard work. Oh, where's this going? Love this bass line though. Tension. Not afraid. Ooh, the attitude, the grit. Slingshot. Very rudimental with the beat, but it's all about this drive by the members. It's my time. Ooh, that string work. Ooh. NMIXX. Oh, okay, the switch up here. What is this retro influence? This keyboard work too. Whoa! I like how we're propelled, like in this song, due to the movement. That outro! Oh, yo! Slingshot. This song exceeded my expectations, y'all. I mean, based on the acapella highlight medley, which was phenomenal, as always, by the way, I felt this attitude this certain kind of energy to it. And mind you, I didn't check out the regular highlight medley. I checked out the acapella highlight medley that didn't have the instrumentation. And now that I fully have listened to Slingshot, I get the grittiness, the attitude, and the drive in this song, the matter of fact. And when I talk about drive, y'all, don't get it twisted necessarily with the tempo, but I'm talking about the energy. The energy and vibes right from the intro, right? You can't stop me. I'm going so fast. Like, Lily, I love how she set the tone in this song, right? When you set the tone in a high peak energy like that, you have to really go with that same kind of attitude and energy on a high note like that, right? You can't just like go on a high note and then drop all the energy right away, which is excellent. I love how it's relentless. There is this certain level of pursuit of one's almost like dreams that I get in Slingshot here, right? Very ambitious, this strong determination. I think that's the key word here. If you look at the less than greater sign and the star, like I'm a slingshot, like I'm getting ready to capture that moment, right? Because once that slingshot releases, boom, right? No one's gonna stop me. I'm gonna go flying right into the stratosphere. But about this like level of like, you know, growth and like, you know, the pursuit of goals and like going through it all, I get it in the lyrics here, right? But then as we progress in the song, I love this repetitive, rudimental movement to the beat in unison with the members, mind you. But at the same time, there's times where the members are really driving the song, right? It's not the instrumentation. It could be in unison, but the members themselves are taking control of the beat, right? And that's due to their energy and the also vocal direction, right? Like, sure, there's these chant-alongable moments that make it such an anthemic track, but there's these lovely melodic moments by the likes of Sulyun that are so beautiful, and then there's obviously the power house-like vocals that are going through and just like are so overwhelming in a good way. But it's so cool how they do the certain vocal techniques, like the crescendos in this that I'm gonna have to point out, and the dynamics between the members and this production in the song, right? It's really neat. It's really one of a kind. Even though it's brief, I mess with this song. And how rare have I been saying that on the channel here? Because usually I feel like, oh, I need 30 more seconds. I need 3 minutes. This is 2 minutes and not even close to 3 minutes. It's 2:28, about that range and duration. But I still mess with it low key. What world am I in right now? Oh my goodness. I am in the stratosphere, everyone. Let me bring it back up here. We're gonna break it down again because that was so good.
You can't stop me. I'm going so far. Slingshot.
That crescendo right there, phenomenal by Lily. And then Sulyun, I love her slight husk. Then Kyojin, the tone, the cadence work. Slingshot. Perfect moment to have Bae in the pre-chorus with this like keyboard works and chords playing out. Bit of tambourine percussion and snapping. The synth strings or chords still, but that bass, I love how fun it is. Bit of distortion vocaloid work behind Kyojin. Slingshot. And that like snapshot sampling, I love it so much. You hear this? It's very distinct. Yeah, right there. Slingshot. The hook is so catchy. The sirens, almost like sirens, but June. I love it, you know, the automatopoeia and like the dynamics in this song, right? The crescendos, the vocal techniques, the little sub details that we're getting here is really cool between the lyrics and of course the members themselves really projecting themselves to a T. I love this so much. Oh my goodness, Slingshot goes crazy. And it wasn't even one of my most anticipated tracks. Crazy. Yeah, that string work. It ascends and then descends. Shoots to the limit, right? I have no limit. Soaring high in the sky. To see what I'm saying with the passion, determination, just the pursuit. This kind of like retro influence is like very signature and we don't get it often, you know. You think about like Wonder Girls, this kind of like pattern, right? The clapping, you know, like it's not often these days, right? It's more done in like, you know, poppier tracks, right? But like this kind of influence in combination is it hits differently, right? Like just this song just transitioned in a whole different kind of genre influence. And this outro, it's very repetitive, but it puts you in a trance. Oh, I love Haewon's moments as well, y'all. This was a great start to this album. Not gonna lie. And even though it is the first B-side, so far my favorite B-side, y'all. And that's a good sign, because when I say that in any album review, you already know the rest of the B-sides are gonna match that quality or go beyond this certain B-side. So hey, let's dive into the next B-side now. So this next track has to be one of the two most anticipated B-sides, solely based on the acapella highlight medley and credits for sure. I mean, you got them joints. Sure, you got Ryan Eschan. I don't really mess with who he is, but I gotta admit, he does put out some good tracks from time to time. And then, Mud the Student. Mud the Student is quite an interesting credit here, because Mud the Student is a hip-hop artist himself. He has worked with the likes of Omega Sapien. He has worked on Show Me the Money, right, on Team Mano's team, right, of Winner. But, you know, Mud the Student has also taken part on See That by NMIXX. So, really interested on Mud the Student's influence, but also Artifact, La 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 Studio, everyone else working behind the scenes on this one. This one has to be experimental or hip-hop based on what I said, or probably both, knowing how NMIXX loves to mix things up when it comes to their music and do mix pop. But hey, let me bring it up here. I'm getting ahead of myself here, and let's go. Brah. Whoa, very intense with the string work, the orchestral work. There's them joints. Oh, what you? Man, the 808 bass? I love it. Of course, it's Jiwoo and the Kyujin. Ooh, I'm feeling the rhythm to this song. Wow, Soyoon here. The hi-hats just trickling. Timpani drums. Ooh. Ingredients that interest me. They're literally cooking with this one, hey? Speak of cooking. Whoa, hey one here. You could hear Mud the Student's influence, and people that have worked on see that onto this. I love the combination of trap, but like orchestral instruments is crazy. It's like a violin or like fiddle, which is cool. A lot of orchestral chops. Give me that, give me that. Ooh, the vocal moments here. The vocal flourishes. Oh, oh, oh. Hey. Playful with it, but also a lot of desire and, again, that level of pursuit that I'm feeling in the song and behind the delivery in this song. Because with that being said, remember the previous track that we were tackling, a Slingshot, right? That's like, wow, hit the ground running. But Golden Recipe is like, let me cook, right? I don't want to be that cheesy guy and say that, and because that kind of like saying and statements like out of my kind of generation, right? And it's overdone. But you could really think of cooking in Golden Recipe as a metaphor of self-expression, right? This is who I am. Let me cook. Let me show who I am, right? That's what I'm getting here about Golden Recipe. It's very straight to the point. It's a song that I feel like is a grower for me. It's definitely one of those grower NMIXX B-sides where it's like, you know, it will really sink into you with more and more listens, right? But I think, you know, with Golden Recipe for how it is and knowing who worked behind the scenes, I would have loved an additional like switch up in Golden Recipe. It's more subtle than their other like experimental, right, your average NMIXX track, which is great, by the way. But having them take this approach with the 808s and the orchestral work combining trap and orchestral is already tough alone. So like, how are they gonna do a switch up with that kind of combination going on simultaneously? So given the fact that I don't think there was necessarily a need for a switch up. Although I would have loved one, and I was like anticipating for one, knowing how NMIXX goes with their music and how experimental they like to go with their music, right? So not necessarily lost opportunity, but it's a track that I really don't mind. It's not like crazy good, but it's a track that I'll definitely go through and keep in the rotation and in repeat. And I feel like eventually on repeat, because it has this level of longevity due to the melodies, due to the combination of instrumentations. That's what I want to emphasize upon. But still, fitting pattern and theme of pursuit of dreams and everything and working on your journey in your life. I admire Golden Recipe for that. So, yeah. Bruh. I can't do it myself, but I love it. I feel like it's one of those things, it's like, I really mess with them joints, but like, this is the case, it's like, I don't necessarily need them joints and everyone behind the scenes working together on one track for NMIXX, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of influences and there's a lot of ideas going around in this song, right? I'm just missing more so the arrangement. I think the post-chorus. The post-chorus is what does it for me. The post-chorus, and of course, the chorus, obviously. Hold up. See, if you don't like really get into the rhythm and the patterns of how this song goes with Kyojin and Jiwoo, then you're not gonna get it, right? But like when you get it here in the initial first go round and you're in the mood of this song, it's fun, right? Here, let me focus more on the vocal work. With, yeah, I was not mistaken. There's that timpani drum. So a lot of range of orchestral work that you don't get in like K-pop constantly. And that's the one thing I've expressed to like fellow K-pop friends and like fans is like K-pop should never get rid of orchestral work, because orchestral work is really what I favor for next to melodic tracks, right? But having this like slight build up here with the symphony drum. Whoa, that like cymbal too. Recipe. You know, it's very consistent throughout, you know? There's nothing lacking, right? And I admire that. Maybe I would have loved a heavier drop with the 808 bass. But you're working with a rudimental beat and the earworminess of this song. Blended. I think Bae really stands out to me and from the previous track, but also in this track as well, without a doubt. But I think Haewon too. I think between Haewon and Bae, wow. Especially during the bridge for this song, right? With Haewon. Because once we progress like right here, yeah, it's like recipe. It's like I would say with the movement of the song Golden Recipe and cooking up something, right? It's like almost like boiling water, right? Because as it progresses and progresses, there's these slight nuances, right? Vocal flourishes, adding some new instruments in the mix, right? And also, of course, moments that we didn't get earlier in the song. That's what I'm getting in terms of at least this track alone and how cohesive it is between the production, arrangement, and vocal direction. Oh my goodness, what a fun track. It's playful, it's a great add to the discography, and it works for the theme and, you know, what we're going for Fe304 forward. And it seems like a transitioner track. I mean, it is the 4th track out of the 6 for this album, so it works for me, honestly. But hey, let's dive into the next B-side now. So this next B-side is titled Papillon. Now, I'm not sure if this was referring to that story or, of course, the translation into butterfly in French, but I just know, not only I, for one, has been looking forward to this track based on the highlight medley, everyone else has, but also people have already listened to this track, mind you, the likes of Eves, right, of Luna, and she has been expressing about this song so much, and many others have as well, so it's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this now. Okay, enough talk, let me bring it up here, and I'm gonna hear for myself, y'all. Put both IMs in first. Let's go. Whoa, the synthesizer work. It's very powerful. Hey, taking the hip-hop influence again, but wow, the synthesizer work. Hey, what a verse one here. Throw away the gravity. MacGuffin, wow, what a reference. Ooh, the stank on the ends of these lines. Ooh, Jiwoo! Ooh, the layers here. The electronic influence is crazy. Okay, Jiwoo! In the kitchen? I'm sorry. I don't pause like this often. And usually when I do it like... I do it before a verse 2. Right? And like with the verse 2, how it is, Jiwoo's rap, I couldn't stop it. Like I didn't want to really interrupt her in that moment. But like Papillon here, it's definitely referring to the translation of butterfly. That's what I'm getting here, right? This level of empowerment is crazy, and we're gonna have to talk about the intentions behind this song and the true message behind this song after the first go around here. But we're gonna have to backtrack because like, wow, they ate with this one. Girls, they ate. Woo! Solian really shines in this song. Hey, I'm done. Fearless work. The theatrical vocal work here. Wow, the drum kit work. Very effusive. We were. Ooh, the old school hip hop influence. That singular synth is crazy. What an outro too. I think this is all stops. I'm serious. This is my favorite B-side, possibly to date, but favorite B-side off of this album by NMIXX. Oh my goodness. Papillon is one of those tracks that you say, hey, cultural reset. But like, in all seriousness, right? It's so cool how they utilize Papillon, but like, pretty much the metaphor of Papillon with butterfly, it's breaking free. If you think about all the eras of Fe304, right? Building into forward, this is that bloom moment. This is out of that shell butterfly moment with Papillon, right? To fly, right? And to go on one's journey. But that journey that journey and growth in life is almost like a butterfly. You're in that cocoon, right? There is that time where you will bloom. There is gonna come to a time, right? But this anthem and the true intentions behind this song of like resilience and matter of breaking free and like shining, I love it so much. This song, I knew it, and I got ahead of myself here. Forgot to mention my favorites that I'm seeing here. I mean, Elisa, 153 Jumbas, shout outs to her, right? Jam Factory, Chisa, not only on the lyrics, but on the composing side, has worked with many of my favorites, the likes of Promise9, the likes of NMIXX, right? Many of my favorites. You see a lot of consistency in Chisa's works. Singer-songwriter, phenomenal. I highly recommend you guys look up Chi, C, and then Sa, S-A. But like Papillon, wow, this is a song that we're gonna have to go through, dissect more, but like the electronic, right, influence, yet again, right, a lot of consistency, a lot of common genres in the mix, but in a great combination and succession throughout this album. I mean, you're talking about, right, EDM, you're talking about trap, right? But amidst all of this, sure, you could go full hip-hop with it, but there's great melodic, you know, vocal moments. And I, for one, usually gravitate towards melodic tracks, right? Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, melodic as in more vocal-heavy tracks, you know what I'm saying? But the instrumentation at the start is mind-boggling with the intro, and then all the way through the end with the outro as well. But the production in this song, right? How certain instruments pan to the left, pan to the right of our ears, but also the vocals as well, pan to the right, pan to the left, center it on the ears. For those who have headphones and IEMs or earbuds, you need to listen to this song with the proper tools, the proper like audio setup, because like that's the one way you can understand what I'm saying and getting this true experience of Papillon here. Like, in all seriousness, like with everything that's going on at the song, with the post-chorus and all, the list of details is so cool with the instrumentation, right? And there's this emphasis that I'm gonna have to point out at the start, and the certain melodies that, you know, I feel like need to be expressed more of my certain level of appreciation to this song. So from the beginning, see, it's just instrumentation here to intro the song, right? It's crazy. We ooh ah. Cannot really decipher the statement here by like Hyojin or one of the members. Yeah, between the vocal chops, the vocal filters, the ad-lib work, right, and how the members carry themselves, right, and then work off each other, right, later on work off each other, but now, right, of what everything's going on, it's just like so intriguing, but like it sticks. It really sticks just to have this epic intro of the instrumentation, and then with Bae really setting the tone into Soyun is such a perfect succession here. The MacGuffin reference, I love it. Yeah, just the melodic moments, right, and the harmonization throughout this song is crazy. I can't emphasize that enough, but I didn't say it earlier. I wanted to mention that now. What is going on here with Lily? That like woodwind work almost with this like keyboard piano chord work. I love it so much with Lily. Listen to it. As someone who played the flute, oh my goodness, the woodwind work here. Ooh, the distortion. That is crazy. Hold up. Inhale, exhale. It feels like that grind, you know what I'm saying? That battle with oneself, right? And then that beep beep beep. I feel like it gives you this level of rush, right? That's right. Right, I do what I like. I breathe harder, right? I go for it. I go. There's no stopping. Nothing stopping me right now to, you know, really bloom and flourish. Ooh, the passion. Ooh wee wah. Ooh wee wah. Wow, I love that. Just the line. Oh my goodness, it's like almost like Jiwoo has like what taken like 1 or 2 pointers from Kid Millie right on from the previous era. But like, yo, oh my goodness, like Jiwoo like continues to be so sharp cut with her craft, and especially in the rap department here. Wow. I don't care about the piling up failures. I know what I did, no doubt, no doubt. But even though I had those failures, it's getting this like moving on kind of moment, you know? Questions are finished in one bite. Bon appetit. Oh, the rhyme scheme. The flow switch up. Wow. I love the layers with the members here. Beep beep beep. I crush. The breakdown with the drum kit work. The grunginess. And then this like a really quick delivery, dreaming like Papillon, I'm feeling myself cause I'm alive. You know, I don't deliver it as well as they do, but like the way that they express themselves with this, dreaming like, you know, butterfly, I'm feeling myself cause I'm alive, right? I'm alive like a butterfly, I'm floating, you know, I'm flying in the sky, right? So I love how they tackle this now. Considering what's the next track, I know the titling of the next track, but we're not gonna get into that until the next track. That is so catchy, you know? It sounds like Gonna Ride, but it's saying I'm alive. This old school hip hop influence. So good. Papillon, y'all. My favorite B-side off this album, and quite possibly my favorite B-side by NMIXX to date. There's just a perfect ebb and flow between the instrumentation, the old school hip-hop, right? The electronic influences, the EDM influences, you know? I wouldn't necessarily say modern day one, but like just how everything played out. Just perfect ebb and flow, this let it breathe in, breathe out moment. And then there's moments where like you feel like you're suffocating because of the rap and like these high tension moments that is driven by passion in the lyrics and in the drive of the rap delivery and vocal delivery at the same time simultaneously. So Papillon is a masterpiece. Wow. But hey, let's get into the final B-side now. So this final B-side is titled Ocean. I'm seeing collectives of 153 Joombas, Jam Factory, individuals who worked on like Red Light Sign Let We Go. I would say, my gosh, right? A lot of great tracks, even Funky Glitter Christmas, but huge names here. I mean, Chris Wally, Tommy Park, who has worked with GOT7 quite a bit. So like, a lot of great names here, but also people really looked forward to this track as well next to Papillon and Golden Recipe. But also, if I recall correctly, it was somewhere mentioned that the members themselves really favored this track. So I'm going to lock in here and really focus on this final track before we wrap up this album and provide my final thoughts, of course. Let's go. All right. With the piano, the waves. Ooh, Haewon. This seems like more of a vulnerable yet emotional one. Taking a very alternative route. Maybe even indie pop. Whoa! Hold up! My mind wandered. Sing it! Okay, before we go and progress in this song, I'm sorry for the abrupt pause again, but this is really close to Papillon. Like, this is already, like, the quality in this song, right? The details of the ocean being played, the sampling of that, but also this back and forth moment with the piano work is so beautiful because it has that back and forth, like, ocean wave feel to it, but then the emotional depth about someone else. It's speaking to me. It is speaking to me with the members here. Hold up. Bring it back a bit. Oh my goodness. The switch up. Is this the same song? Bring it back. Very tender with the keys and the vocal moments. Oh, wow. That subtle moment there, very impactful. They straight chills here. Just when I thought Papillon was my favorite B-side, Ocean has something to say in the most tender, emotional, hard-hitting kind of way. Wow, what a way to wrap up the album. This is when you know about NMIXX, right? Like, when it comes to their albums, they're either gonna end it off with a bang, you know what I'm saying? Like, in this very uplifting, spirited moment. But Ocean, it is slower in tempo, but just right amount of tempo and movement, but like about emotional connection, right? It's about emotional connection and emotional depth. And when it comes to our emotions, it's very complex. And then when it comes to that with another significant other one, it gets even more complex with it, like an ocean. It's very vast, it's very deep, and it can go a lot of different ways, but bringing it back to you yourself throughout the ocean and having that other person, you know, go through the ocean and you go through the ocean to just be at the same spot and place like that. Wow, I love that kind of like intention and like, wow, it's a lot to handle, right? And with Ocean, that switch up, we need to talk about the switch up in verse too, because that switch up is something that I was looking for quite some time from NMIXX, but they've done it a lot, and the way that they eased us into that switch up was very clean and clinical, without a doubt, right? Ocean, a lot of emotional gravitas, I can't emphasize that enough, and it's the perfect closer to this album. But before we talk about the album as a whole and my overall thoughts, second go around, come on now, we're gonna listen to this fully. I'm gonna try to focus more and talk about the instrumentation instead of geeking out and fanboying out, you know. But as someone who loves music in general as well, this is really dope. Float with me, yeah. So I gotta say, without a doubt, Haewon and Jiwoo and Kyujin on this track, so lovely. But then it's not a slow burn, but it's like a easing in kind of feel that I'm getting with Sullyeon here. But this, like, using the ocean as a metaphor of, like, love and emotions is very powerful in itself, right? I see this fitting pattern here, you know, whether it be Golden Recipe, whether it be ocean. These metaphors, just them using these metaphors is really cool, right? Drowning in the ocean of your heart. Wow. Yeah, just more so a lot of focus on the members' vocal works and skill sets and how they work off each other. I love the mixing, mastering, and the blending. That's a 10 out of 10 for me. The hooks, the melodies, the harmonization. Ocean. And I love how it's not the same member to do this impactful line. This switch up with Kyujin in the verse. I didn't expect to fall for this much. No mistakes. My heart is beating. This twist to the storyline almost. These retro keys, I love it. Great percussion work between Kyujin and Bae, without a doubt. Like bells or chimes. Yep. I can't emphasize this enough, like, throughout all these tracks, including Ocean, like, the vocal capabilities and skill set that NMIXX has, the prowess, is on another level, right? The fact that they're doing this while doing it on a stage, to think about like that, like, I know we're not, like, talking about the album yet. I just gotta point it out, you know? I just gotta say the facts, and it's like, they're on a whole nother level, and I love how they're doing their own thing. Wait for Bae, though. Hold for the outro. I love how they strip away the instrumentation for us to focus on Lily here. Such a highlightable moment. Bring it back. Everything. Ocean. Very tender. Just vocals here. And the kick drum snare work. and they strip away everything to give us that, like, you know, settle down kind of feel with Kyujin on the ends of the lines of Ocean. Wow, what a way to wrap up this album, y'all. But fellow answers, how are you feeling about this album? I mean, it just seems like they keep on topping themselves, and this has to be my favorite, not only title track with Know About Me and the release of High Horse, but favorite EP by NMIXX to date. They've been building it up all the way to this moment and all, but the way that I'm getting in terms of the common themes, patterns, and messages across this song is truly about, lastly, ending on emotional depth with Ocean, but ambition and self-discovery and empowerment and self-identity. This is what we need more of, and this is what, you know, people gotta listen into by NMIXX, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not on NMIXX, I don't know what other, you know, music you're on, but like, you gotta get into NMIXX, because the not only the quality of music has been phenomenal, and they have an incredible track record throughout their discography, and specifically the Fe304 series. They truly know how to throw on a performance, and they have meaningful music that can be experimental at times. Actually all the time, I should say by now. Experimental all the time, with very surprising moments with certain genres and influences. But to wrap it up, we break down the first track here, High Horse. If you guys haven't seen my MV reaction and review, and like more so the performance, reaction to the performance, be sure to do so. If you want me to still solely do a focused review on High Horse, I'll be more than happy to do so. Or, you know, this album in 2 weeks, 3 months time, I might backtrack on this album and talk about the longevity and like the quality of this album over a certain time period, because I've been really wanting to do that for certain NMIXX albums, and of course my other favorites. But High Horse, I love how that song plays out. I mean, PH1 on the lyrics, right? Collapse done. What's there not to love? But the ethereal approach, and like in the performance, and how it takes the extra mile in terms of that particular song is everything. Know About Me, I said what I needed to say in the album, in the music video, reaction and review. If you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend you do so. My favorite title track, quite possibly to date. But Slingshot, oh my goodness, that metaphor work, right? That pursuit in your journey throughout life and figuring out one's self there. I love Slingshot. I love the lesser sign into a star there in the parentheses, the details there. Golden Recipe, it was a pretty good track. It wasn't one of my top favorites, but there's still a lot to admire in terms of the metaphor work of cooking up, right? My recipe. This is, you know, I'm figuring it out, all right? And I am gonna have that golden recipe, that go-to recipe for myself, right? Papillon, Butterfly, hands down by far my favorite B-side on the album, without a doubt. It takes the cake, right? Papillon, Butterfly, right? That growth, that journey throughout life. See what I'm saying in these common themes and patterns, right? It's very cohesive. It makes this album very cohesive as a whole yet again. And then Ocean, right? The vast ocean, the emotional depth, talking about another significant other one, right? Or talking about the fandom of answers. Either way it works, right? Emotional depth of like figuring out the emotions in the ocean, and and how cohesive that is with the piano and the waves, and there's just so much to talk about this album, and just so little time in life. I could go on hours talking about NMIXX. Seriously, that's why I still cover NMIXX to the date, and I still support them, because not only their personalities but their music is on such a whole nother level. As a fan of K-pop, fan of NMIXX, an objective fan that loves all sorts of genres of music. I mean, the fact that they've utilized trap, EDM, right, alternative R&B, I even mentioned indie pop in this, is really dope. But to point out my favorites, I'd have to go with Papillon, I have to go with Ocean, I have to go with Slingshot, and then I have to go with Golden Recipe, High Horse, and Know About Me in those two tracks are in its own lane. I'm gonna be real with y'all, you know. I think High Horse is right up there with Papillon. Know About Me is the title track, so it's in its separate highway, byway, what you have it be. But let me know your thoughts about this album. This 4th EP is a 10 out of 10 home run for me, for Fe304 forward. How about you guys? I want to connect with you guys in the comment section down below, whether it be on the Patreon or the channel here. So let me know your thoughts. Take care as always. Be sure to like and subscribe, as it goes a long way and helps out the channel. Lets me know that you want to see even more NMIXX content, especially, and it lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing on the channel here. But take care and peace.